So selling floor heating is very easy for us when a client comes to us and asks for a quote, because it means we're halfway there. The client's already thinking of floor heating. So we quote it up and we generally get the sale because our pricing's excellent, our quality, our service, all excellent, no problem. Where there's such enormous opportunity with floor heating is the fact that most clients, when they're doing their floors, whether it's a new build or a renovation, they don't think of floor heating at the time. And in most cases, the builder doesn't mention it, the architect, the designer, the electrician, no one brings up floor heating. So the floors go down and eventually that client will visit someone else's home, experiences floor heating, of course loves it, and then they realize, I forgot about floor heating. No one told me. It's too late. My floors are down. And this is despite three things floor heating has going for it that makes it absolutely special and unique in the entire building industry. The first thing is everyone loves floor heating. There's very little in this world, let alone the building industry, that just about everyone agrees they love a certain product. Floor heating is one of the very few. Secondly, floor heating is the best type of heating in every physical sense if you're doing floors. If you're not doing floors, then it's very expensive because you have to lift up the floors first. That's very expensive to do. No one wants to do that. The first reason why floor heating is the best form of heating, it's the only form of heating that evenly distributes the heat. You don't want heat from one or two spots, always having to circulate inefficiently, leaving cold and hot areas, more often than not blowing around the dust and the particles and all that crap in the air. No, you want evenly distributed, gentle, radiant heat. And you want your heat from the floor. You don't want your heat from a wall or ceiling when hot air rises. No brainer. Thirdly, also a no-brainer, but a lot of people don't actually think of it. Floor heating is the only type of heat that not only heats the room, but heats the floor. Heating the floor is actually the bonus. It's not the main reason for floor heating. Not only is it a bonus and that everyone loves, but it means you don't have to heat the room as much because you're on a warm surface already. Other benefits of floor heating in comparison to other types of heating: no space requirements, nothing to see, nothing to smell, nothing to hear, nothing to feel as far as hot air blasting out. No machinery, no moving parts, no ongoing maintenance, and no future repairs. Because floor heating is the ultimate in simplicity and efficiency. At the end of the day, it's just a cable under the floor and a thermostat. Nothing can go wrong with floor heating once the floor is down and it's too late. And this is why we offer a 25-year warranty. And we don't get warranty issues because nothing could go wrong unless someone does something silly, like drilling a hole for a doorstop and not being careful, or recklessly ripping up the floor and not taking that extra bit of care because there's floor heating there. Otherwise, it is set and forget. Now, the third reason why floor heating is so special and unique in the entire building industry is financial. First, I encourage people, in most cases in Australia, don't think of floor heating as an additional cost. Think of it as an alternative cost. If you're doing your floors and you're planning on spending money to heat that area anyway, then floor heating is the best spend of that heating dollar. It's not more spend. It's an alternative cost. But then I go one step further, and this is the key value proposition with floor heating. Don't think of floor heating as a cost at all. Rather, think of it as an investment. And I boldly suggest floor heating is the best investment available in the entire building industry. It's a big call, but the reason is simple. Everyone thinks of floor heating as a luxury item, but the cost is actually quite low. There's an enormous differential between perception of value and reality of cost. that enormous difference is the value add for the client. And to put in dollar terms, you could floor heat a small bathroom for as little as a few $100s. Or a whole typical home for say $10,000, $20,000 floor heating everywhere. But when that home eventually goes in the market, whether it's next year or 20 years from now, with floor heating throughout, that tells the market this is a luxury property. It's got floor heating everywhere. That 10 or 20 grand spend could easily add an extra 50 or 100 grand or more to the market value because you've enhanced the overall image far, far more than the actual low cost of the floor heating. So in summary, floor heating is a joy to sell. It has everything going for it. Everyone loves it. It is the best form of heating in every way, and it is the best value add opportunity in the entire building industry. You can't beat it. But we have two challenges. By working together, we can not only overcome these challenges, but make a lot of money for you, for us, and happier clients with no downside along the way, and I'll explain that. So the first challenge we have is, by definition, every opportunity is short-lived. Once the floors go down, it's too late. It's that simple. So you, as the tradie, you are in position, not only day by day do you see these opportunities, you can bring them to our attention and bring the quote to the client's attention. You're the one in position to do that. Not only that, but you're also, by definition, have built up a certain level of trust with the client. They've already agreed to pay you a lot of money to go in and do your services on site. So they trust you to a degree, and this is something we can build on. So that's the first challenge we can overcome together. The second challenge we have with floor heating is we have to overcome 4 common misconceptions about floor heating. These are misconceptions, the wrong information that is prevalent throughout Australian way of thinking if people think about floor heating. If we can correct this lack of information and wrong information, give the proper facts on floor heating, it sells itself because it's such a great product, as I've already explained. So the first misconception, floor heating is a luxury item, therefore it must be expensive, therefore I'm not going to get a quote. Now I've already mentioned how that's basically not the case. It's actually a lot cheaper than people expect. It's very affordable. The way to get around this is simply get quotes in front of people so they can make the proper yes or no decision on floor heating, not the wrong absolute no on floor heating without thinking it through. That's the first misconception to overcome. The second one, floor heating is electric, so it must be expensive to run, therefore I'm not going to get a quote. Absolutely false. In fact, it's very cheap to run. And there's reasons why. Firstly, the thermostats are so smart now. You don't just program them to turn on at a certain time like you do most things. It's better than that. You program them to be a certain temperature at a certain time. So it learns the room over the first few days, works backwards, figures out the latest to turn on to get to your temperature at your time. So not only does it minimize the heat up time, but it eliminates any guesswork by the user. Then, once it hits your temperature at your time, it turns off, goes on a duty cycle, on, off, on, only as required. So it's actually running a fraction of the time you want the heat. Now, all this is summarized in what we call a running cost calculator. It's a simple spreadsheet on our website. You put in basic variables like the watts per room, hours in the morning and at night, electricity tariff, etc. It gives you a very good estimate for ongoing running costs, and it is always far, far less than people expect. And what's not even included in the model is the use of solar energy, which a lot of clients will have or will be getting. Use of solar energy could largely offset these running costs in any case, which will make the results even lower. And remember, no ongoing maintenance and no future repairs. So overall, floor heating is very cheap to run on an ongoing basis. Now, the third misconception that's prevalent about floor heating is to heat bathrooms. No, It's the best way to heat every room in the home, not just bathrooms. Several times a day, we get plans sent to us for new builds with explicit instructions, can you quote the bathrooms for floor heating? So we've learned now, every time we go back to the client and say, Mr. Client, because our quotes are all room by room, why don't you let us quote the entire home? Not because we expect you to take floor heating for the whole home, although a lot of clients do that. All we want to accomplish is to ensure you can consider floor heating room by room before the floors go down and it's too late. We'd hate for you to just do the bathrooms and then you love it so much in hindsight, you wish you did more rooms, but you never got a quote. We've learned from this. So we know it's best get all the quotes out, all the rooms quoted, and you can say yes, no, room by room, make that fully informed decision. If at the end of the day you just take out the bathrooms you originally asked for, fine. At least you made that fully informed decision and we should all be satisfied. So why don't you let us quote the whole room, Mr. Client? 8 times out of 10, the client says, that's a great idea. I never thought of that. Go ahead and quote. It can't hurt. And more often than not, they end up taking heating in more rooms than they asked, just because we were a little bit proactive, offering to them what we knew it was obvious, but just didn't occur to them. And this is related to the fourth and last main misconception. Floor heating is to heat the floors. No, it's the best way to heat the room. Heating the floor is the bonus that everyone loves. So it's not just for, say, cold tiles. It's for just about every flooring surface. Under tiles, timbers, vinyls, laminates, under carpet, in screed, and in slab, usually for a polished concrete finish. So a client might say, well, why would I want to heat my carpet? That's silly. The answer is simple. You're not doing it to heat your carpet. You're doing it to heat your room the smartest way. And by the way, if you've ever woken up on a cold winter's morning, stepped on a nice warm carpet with bare feet, it's heaven. And the client will usually say something like, good point, I never thought of that. And that's reflective of our whole approach. Gentle, proactive, but no pushy sales required. We don't expect you or us to have to sell floor heating, just to offer it. So, this is how we would love to work for you and with you and for your clients. Firstly, do not wait for your client to ask about floor heating. Because even though just about 100% of people love floor heating, our guess is 1%, if that, of people actually get a quote to consider floor heating before the floors go down. That difference between the 100% who love it and the 1% who get a quote means 99% of people who love floor heating don't get a quote to consider before the floors go down. That is a ridiculous opportunity that we can take advantage of in a positive way to offer floor heating to every client before it's too late. I can't think of anything else, not only in the building industry, but just in the whole world with such untapped potential. So firstly, do not wait for them to ask. Second, do not ask the client, can I get you a quote for floor heating? It's really great, blah, blah, blah. Because if you ask them first, a lot of them will automatically say no thanks because of those 4 common misconceptions that are so prevalent. They're saying no for the wrong reasons. We don't mind them saying yes or no for the right reasons, but you don't want no automatically. So when you start a project, what we suggest, we know you have 100 or 1,000 things you do every time. Add 1 more, which is automatically sent to Coldbuster Floor Heating the plans. Don't ask them and don't wait to be asked, but rather automatically, as part of your process, send us the plans, let us quote it room by room. We give it back to you, you take it to the client. Mr. Client, you've hired us to do X, Y, Z for this project. We notice floors are part of your project. So we took the liberty of getting you a quote for floor heating. I know we haven't even discussed it yet, but it's not only a product that everyone loves, is the best form of heating in every way, and is the best value add opportunity for you in the entire industry. But most importantly, it's now or never. I didn't want you to miss out on the opportunity to consider it room by room before the floors go down. It's too late. So here's a quote And I didn't bring it up with you first, Mr. Klein, because I didn't want you to say no for the wrong reasons. I don't mind you saying no for the right reasons. You see the quote. So you see the cost of each room, the heat layout of each room, and can make that proper yes or no decision room by room. So here you go, Mr. Klein. Now, by taking this gentle yet proactive approach, you are not selling or pushing anything. You're just doing the client a favor. So there's no downside for the client or for you in this whole process. The worst case scenario from this is the client looks at it and says, no, thank you. But they will always appreciate you went to that extra effort to get them a quote for something that not only has all these benefits, but it's now or never. And most people miss out on considering it. So they'll always appreciate it. You'll get the goodwill from the client regardless. That's the worst case. A better case scenario is